What's up, everybody? Welcome back here for our finale episode recap review from House of the Dragon. Yes, we're talking about episode 208. I know we missed you last week. We were all in the Comic-Con shenanigans. The time was working out. We got the screener at a very inconvenient time. But nonetheless, Stevie and I are here to talk about the finale with a little bit of sentiments from last week's episode. So, as we always do, let's jump off with our full thoughts of last week and then our review thoughts of the finale. So, we'll start with you. What was your thoughts about what I felt was probably one of the most insane, but most like liberating episodes last week? Because there's nothing better than when you see your boy cop that. I made this funny joke on online. And I'm going to use it in a second, but there's nothing funnier than when you see your buddy get his first car.
Yeah. Yes, I really liked it. I liked the last episode. I really like everyone claiming their dragons and things like that, and how they all came together. And of course, I like Vermithor just like burning shit, like just burning stuff up, and how they each claim their dragon. Ulf going on his little joyride over King's Landing and things like that was fun. And yeah, just overall a good episode. I do think that Jace had some valid concerns as well, which I don't know if that's one of your points, but I think he has some valid concerns of being upset with all this. But so I overall thought it was really good.
Yeah, I really loved last week's episode. I watched it 3 times, even through the Comic-Con shenanigans, but I like to do my recordings here in the studio, so that's professional. Audio is good. Didn't want to waste you all's time or Stevie's time trying to just put out anything. So I figure we'll have enough to talk about with the finale and could kind of tie it into last week's episodes. But yeah, listen, there was nothing more exciting to seeing all of our suspects of who were going to claim dragons get their dragons. And, first of all, I've been pro Hugh for a long time, and the fact that Hugh has one of the most easily the best moment of last week's episode when he stands in front of Vermithor and he claims his dragon. And I also think that seeing Rhaenyra kind of, not only was she excited, but I think she was at a point of just disbelief of what was happening. And this was everything that, it's the impossible, as they said. Like this is not a thing that was supposed to happen. This was a plan that her and Jace put together. They went through the scripts. They done seen it fail one time horribly and multiple times within this little spree. Yeah. And somebody rose up. They got the call from King's Landing. They come over and have you know it. They have not only a rider, but I would say a honorable, but possibly one of the most loyal, second to most loyal of the new riders here. And then I gotta talk about my man. How do they say his name? Because I the reason why I didn't pretend to act like I knew it, because even Jace was like, "What is your name? Is it Oof or Ilf? Or Eve?"
Yeah. I do want to add about what's his name? Oh my god, Hugh. When he was yelling at Vermithor, it was very Jon Snow. Like, he did the same thing when he got his dragons. That was really nice callback. Yeah.
Oof. Listen, my man Oof got his dragon after fleeing from Vermithor's wrath and stumbles upon what's his dragon name?
Silverwing.
Silverwing. Yeah, he has Silverwing. And him getting Silverwing was just the biggest coincidence of his life. But as I have made this joke on Facebook in other groups, the X and whatnot, I said, we all remember that time when everybody got their first car. And whether they got a predatory interest rate, where they got an interest rate that was at like 27%, or we talk about our athletes, the first time they get their respective checks. So if you're in the NBA, the first time you got your NBA check and you went right to the dealer and said, "Hey, let me get that Hellcat," and lost your mind and skirted out of the dealership. Listen, my boy was having the time of his life. Nobody could tell him nothing. And you know what he said? We're going right back to King's Landing. What's good? Listen, as reckless as he is and as questionable as he is in terms of loyalty or even understanding just what it means to be in the sense of courtmanship, he gonna do him. And I'm liking the unorthodox personality within the council. But like the fact that he went right back was like, oh yeah, he's about that life. No fear, reckless to be exact. But it's a different change of pace. But I will say this. The one thing we must know about Silverwing, because I believe you said this, and if you didn't, I definitely saw it right before this episode came out, is I believe Silverwing is considered the fastest dragon. And it wasn't even close how fast he dusted Vhagar. And that I think is going to play a part come next season now. Because I was going to say come this episode, but nothing. But we will keep our thoughts there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
But like he smoked Vhagar. I mean, if we're talking, I mean, when we talk about street racing, we talk about the number of cars people get put on them, or if it's a lot, we say the number of buses. In this case, he put like at least 10 Vhagars between them. And I think it's interesting that we get to understand the different characteristics of the dragons. And Vermithor, I saw this online that somebody said Vermithor, although being the biggest dragon, has no wounds. So this is a matter of testing. But we do know that the lineage that Vermithor comes in, which has to be respected in that note as well too. So the Vermithor Vhagar battle is definitely something everybody's looking forward to. But let's not overlook the other dragons that's on the field here. So with Sea Smoke getting my man Adam, which I love that dynamic. Also, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. I'm sad to announce that Laenor is dead.
I know.
A very random small tidbit in there, and I'm like, let me ask you that real quick before we get into the Vincent episode. How, as much as we've been theorizing, and we're not the only ones.
No, yeah.
And it was never even labeled on any of the reference material, the guides or anything for House of the Dragon. So even on the HBO website, it was never labeled that he died. And they just slid that in there. Do we buy it?
I don't know. Like,
it's weird.
That's one thing about this. I kind of wish they expanded more on it, because the last time that we left off, like, Corlys thought he was upset at Rhaenyra because Corlys thinks that Rhaenyra and, oh my God, why Daemon killed him.
Yeah.
They think that he killed Laenor. So it's like, I thought you would have a little bit more, especially when she made you hand the king. I thought you would have a little bit more of like a, thing about it, especially so much talk with Sea Smoke and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. Like,
it is big question marks for me. I don't know what to make of it, but they did try to slide that tidbit in there, like, oh, Laenor's deceased, and I won't get exactly how it was worded out, but I know it was something I was kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that fate to be off screen for a character and a dragon that could be pivotal. I mean, hell, what's also interesting, it was also never really ever as much as they talked about like the other kids that was available, like they were talking about Daeron being another rider, and it's like, oh, what about if Helena wants to be a rider? And then it was like, well, maybe, but they never ever talked about, when they talked about riders, they never mentioned that Laenor could be a rider of use, especially in a time where we're talking about numbers here. So I don't know. To me, this feels like, which I know is not true, but it almost feels like the actor was left the show, and they had to figure out a way to write the actor off. So they just decided to just go with this storyline, which means like keep it all the way in the background, even though it's super important right now, and we'll just slide it in there and let you all know, like,
because also, like, in the books, I think he's dead. Like, he's not alive either. They didn't do this whole thing where they sent him away or something like that. That wasn't there. So I don't know. Maybe they wrote themselves in a wall because they have this other character supposed to ride him next and stuff like Silverwing next. So maybe they were trying to do something like that too.
I don't know. I don't know to make it, but yeah. Nonetheless, I really enjoy episode 7. I'm sure there's much more we could talk about with that, but we try to stick to about an hour to cover each episode. So let's get into the finale. We are here, starting off with our quick review. I will go first. I thought this episode did a lot to set up another episode. Unfortunately, this is the finale. So with all of the potentials for a finale, a conclusion for a season, all the ultimate hangovers, even another grand scale battle, I felt like this episode drove very hard into delivering us another episode. And I'm not talking about another season. I'm talking about like this felt like this is a 10 episode season, and there should be one more episode 9 to really make it as explosive as possible. And then episode 10 sends us into the next season. They built so much here. Yeah. I mean, we have no choice but to hold our breath, whether we make it to season 3 or not, to be determined. But they did so much, so many good things to talk about, to ask questions. I mean, even talk about Tywin Lannister and sleeping with all those women. Who will those kids be? You know what I mean?
Right.
We got to talk about the cameo, whether it was really her or not. But one of the most iconic characters outside of Jon Snow in Game of Thrones gets a little action here. They didn't hold back from all of the different things. And then I can't even believe to say this, but this man, Daemon, spent his entire season in Harrenhal.
He really did.
But the visions, as I mentioned, the visions made it worthwhile, because we got some, as I mentioned, and one of the most iconic characters, but we got some visions of others, and him understanding that he is just a chapter in the story, which I think he took it in a good way, if you ask me.
I think so too. I wrote in my notes, I'm like, I hope this doesn't mean something else, like that she's not supposed to be queen or something, or else this won't happen type thing. I don't know, but it does seem like he took it good.
I'll be honest, like from everything he saw, I definitely didn't think his reaction was going to be what it was, but here we are. He took it good, and so be it. So yeah, listen, I thought this episode definitely was great storytelling. Very underwhelming in the action, but beggars can't be chooser. And also, I just felt like, again, I feel like when you end the season, I think it's cool to want to leave a little bit of a cliffhanger, but they left so much.
Yeah, they really did.
The last 30 minutes was nothing but cliffhangers from every aspect of the story. There's like, yep, we're gonna make sure you don't know what happens next here. Keep guessing, keep guessing, keep guessing, keep guessing. They by no means were short of it. But that's my thoughts. What did you think?
I liked it. I have the same thoughts as you did. I think I definitely heard, like, in other videos about this, that this was supposed to be a 10 episode, but then they shrunk it down to 8. And I feel like it shows, like, after you rewatch it and look back, because I feel like there's scenes that look like they could be in, like, a singular episode. Like, a lot of the scenes with Rhaena in the Vale, I feel like if you put all of them together, that's probably like a half of like a person, like an episode solely about her. Yeah, because they just did not, like, she's just doing nothing really. Like, she's just being a Disney princess in the Vale, Yeah. So, and the same thing you could probably say a little bit with Harrenhal. Like, I feel like that was maybe stretched out a little bit to like multiple episodes. So it definitely feels like it, but I thought it was really good. I thought it was good. I thought it will set up things for the next season coming up, and also I think the last one also ended off in a cliffhanger, if I didn't forget, like the last season's last episode. So it fits.
Yeah, interesting that they decided to go with 8 instead of 10, because 10 was the first season. But I do know that when this happens, I know from like other series, is that the last 2 episodes they've already been shot. They're fully ready to go. Maybe there's some post things they need to do. Yeah. But it just means that we will see in season 3 the first 2 episodes being essentially what episodes 9 and 10 would be for this season, which means that the premiere episode of season 3 has got to be insane. It's got to be insane. Which is like, okay, I guess I can get with that, but it's interesting. I mean, this is without a doubt Max's biggest show. It may not win all the wars as Succession did and whatnot, but like, people are tuning in for this. They know they got us. They could have made this 6 episodes. We would have ate that all up.
Yeah.
So they're able to kind of work the numbers and figure out the viewership and all that and do what they need to do, and it's going to be okay. I mean, yeah, sometimes it doesn't come to the benefit of the viewers, but we know that there's more coming. And even if they had not announced the season 3, this is the biggest indication that there's more coming, which I would imagine too. And I don't know, I have any knowledge in this, but I would speculate that when you need to pitch your story for the next season in order to be renewed, you can also say, but by the way, we got this episode ready to go. Let's watch this. You let me know what you think. Here's another one in case you need a little bit more. Here's the rest of the story. So like it almost reassures that they're going to be able to get things kicked off on the right foot and get that renewal. So yeah, let's talk about it. Tylen Lannister is out here doing the work, doing some recruiting here, and he's in Essos. And these folks are really bargaining some things that I guess they want the stepstones, but in order for them to do so, in order for them to get loyalty from this army, Lohar, who is a commander but yet admiral, says, I need to test your might. I need to see who you about. And she's fierce. She's absolutely yeah. I mean, she comes in and she's like, I just want to make this very clear who they sent to me, because if you ain't sending the best, that's going to determine my response to that. What did you think about the opening of this episode and with her?
I did like it. I feel like this whole scene with the Lannister and Essos is like very comedic. Like I feel like this is like the comedic parts of the episode, trying to make maybe an episode that's so serious and trying to set everything up a little bit more lighthearted, which I like. I feel like you need that type of break. I am interested to see like how this which we find out later in the episode, how this plays in with the Lannister lineage and things like that. That's interesting. I also wrote down that there was an interesting quote where she said, "You may sit on the throne yourself," which I thought was a little bit of a callback to Game of Thrones, because he's a Lannister and he's eventually his family is going to sit on the throne. So, you know, I like that. But I thought that was all interesting to see. And, you know, they're trying to get their fleet so it could go against Corlys's, who has the best fleet in Westeros. So we'll see how they do.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was definitely like, I totally forgot about the whole idea that there has to be a battle on the water. So this is actually a great recruitment move that I was kind of like, oh, where's this going? It makes you kind of vulnerable against the dragons. But I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You still have to worry about Corlys's and everybody and all of his ships. Yeah, I would say that Laura kind of gives me like Brienne vibes.
Yes, I thought that too.
And I mean, who's going to say no to that? This was
the giant lady.
Yeah. All right. We now see Aemon, and Aemon is standing off on his dragon, looking at fire over a town. What town was that? Because at one point I said, "Is this King's Landing?"
When I watched it, I googled it. It's called Sharp's Point, I think.
Okay.
I think it's called Sharp's Point. I could check again, but I think it's like right. It's like right by Dragonstone, so it kind of like makes, when I looked at the map, it's right below it, so it kind of makes sense why he flew there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was like, there's no way this is like a King's Landing overview and how big of a deal that would be, but. Him having a sight of things. I don't know if this is metaphorical for him or not, but he definitely was looking off at Fire Over City, and then we see Aegon II still recovering here. Now Jason, we see Jason comes in, and Jason suggests that I'm saying Jason. Is it Jason?
You mean Larys?
There. What am I talking about? Larys. Yeah. I have no clue. Larys comes in and he suggests that they need to leave and must not return anytime soon. Larys has been trying to find his value.
Yeah.
And by being the king's hand, because, Aegon is still the king, he figures this is an opportunity for him to get in good. But I mean, he's not wrong. He brings out some very sound advice here, because he lets him know that Rhaenyra has 3 new riders for a dragon. Aegon's like, no way, but like, yes way. And he's like, okay. But he says like, I'm the king. Why must I run? And then we get the hard truth here, because the king regent is going to kill you.
Yeah.
And with him being so desperate, and at this point now back against the wall, there's no telling what he would do. And then he makes the suggestion like, hey, what if I make him prisoner? And then he makes the next smart decision. Well, what happens to Vhagar if he's not on the board here? So he says, listen, let me take you to Essos and we'll do that. Also, it is, I've never been a big Aegon fan, but like, it is kind of sad to kind of see where he's gotten to at this point. And
yeah.
I will say it definitely hurt me in the feels when my man said that his thing exploded. So he said, I don't look good. I can't use my body parts. I'm crippled. What can I do? And even in this moment, he still was given a little bit of reassurance, because he said, you will be Aegon, the Realm's delight, or I will be Aegon, the Realm's delight. So one way or another, the Aegon story is going to be interesting, because I still think he will be looked at in a positive light. No matter how you look at it, he went out on the field, he fought a dragon, he survived Dragon's Fire, which is a big deal. His brother double crossed them. I mean, as much as like Alicent talking about like the perception of her, the folks that know what Aemon did knows, and that's not a good thing. I think Aegon's sort of like legacy is going to be intact. He'll be okay, and whether he knows it or not. But I don't think at this point now he has nothing to prove. What did you think about the conversation and his decision to, or him garnering the decision to leave?
I liked it. I think it was a good decision on his part, and to listen to Larys. Like, I also think that Larys is also doing a smart thing by sticking close to Aegon, because when he does come back, he's probably going to get be handed the king and things like that, because he was there when Aegon was down and kind of like took him out and stuff when shit was about to go bad. So I did like that. I really do think Aemon is going to kill him if he stayed. I really do. Because in this episode, you totally see that he is like so angry and upset, and we can talk about that later, but definitely makes a lot of sense. In terms to also another thing they point out, his dragon is dead too, Sunfire, which I'm not happy about because I like Sunflower. So you do see that, and just overall, thought it was good. And you definitely will see Aemon come back. And not Aegon come back in the future. So
sounds like a spoiler to me, but we'll go with that.
Oh, he's alive. He's gonna come back.
I don't know, man. I mean, the show had no problem just killing off other people behind the scenes, was to say that it's doing with him. But I will say that his return is definitely anticipated at this rate now. I'm sad to say, but I kind of am slightly rooting to see how he seeks revenge on his brother.
Yeah, that too. I also really good like with this part here, because like Aegon, even though Aegon is sympathetic, he's not like a good person. Like, he's not. He's
a young boy. He made reckless decisions, and I mean, him hanging the rat catchers and whatnot. I mean, that definitely didn't do good for the people.
Yeah,
and he definitely had the people kind of starving out there. He's not suitable for the king, and honestly, got to kind of blame his mother a little bit too, because she kind of put him up to this. But he's not without flaw, but he definitely ain't in the lines of like Aemon and his shenanigans as of right now.
No, it's like two different things, but they do know how to make him sympathetic, which is really good writing right there. Making a bad guy sympathetic. It's not like he's like a Joffrey or something where you just hate him,
Yeah. All right, so we see Rhaena just ripping and running through the mountains. She sees water. She looks like this is like the first time she's ever discovered such a pure source of refreshments and so on. But it's obviously because we all know what she's up to. I think we all know what she's up to, right? Was it obvious what she was up to?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think she's trying to find it.
Yeah. Well, she's out here dragon hunting, all for her own merit. I'm gonna be honest and say like cool, because we want to see more dragon rides, but I also said like I'm not such a fan of this part of the story because they never really built up the fact that she really wants a dragon.
Yeah.
She kind of just was in care of her nephews or cousins.
Yeah.
And in the protection of her, I mean, in protection of them and also in protection of herself. So it kind of was just like she was giving her duties. And now I would say that this is kind of treason because she was not supposed to be doing this. She was supposed to be making sure that they were safe. And although she did put them in a safe place, her self-endeavor here to go find a dragon was definitely something I wish they would have built a little bit up more for us to really see why she would go essentially through a duration of time of starving, damn near death, to find a dragon that she suspects. There's evidence. There was also a little bit of eyewitness of like, yeah, there's definitely one out there, and she says, "Yeah, I'm going to get it." So interesting. And the dragon that she's going after, I believe you called it sheep something, but
sheep stealer.
Sheep stealer, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wild dragons out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, cliffhanger, because at the end of the episode, we seem like, oh, it looks like she. Now listen.
Now she found it. You know.
Now listen. The rate at people meeting dragons and it going good has been very low. If they decided somehow, some way, there's like, yeah, we're gonna kill Raina in the beginning of the next episode, I would spit whatever I'm drinking out instantly. They would never do it, but God would that would set the tone for that episode. Like, holy crap. Maybe what one's desire isn't all what's necessary, you know. All right, so Jace now. So Jace comes in and tells how do you say his name? L-U-L-F? Oof. Oath.
I think they call him Oath. I'm gonna call him that.
Okay. Oh, y'all know who we're talking about. But they tell him to remove his feet off the table. He didn't know who Jace was, but he gives him a hug. Hugh falls in line, tries to make sure that Oath falls in line too. But as I said, Oath is not used to being a man of court. I don't have a problem with this. I really like this character shaking things up. I also think that this character, Oath, brings so much more to Jace's story because Jace sees his importance varying because he is supposed to be to the right hand of his mother, to make sure that if you follow your mother's, you make sure that everyone not only is loyal to your mother, but when your mother's not around, that they're still following suit. That's what your eyes are supposed to be. And I know Jace continues to want to prove himself, prove his relevance. And although he wants to be out there doing something on the field, I think it always starts at home. So I like this. I like his frustrations. There's some other little moments with him, but I like that he will be a catalyst to ensuring that these new riders are loyal and ensure that the loyal is unwavering. So I'm really with this. And Oath just being in there giving hugs and whatnot. How can you not like the shenanigans with him?
I like this part of him. It's later where I'm just like, okay, come on, have some decorum, at least a little bit.
Man, I feel like there's people like that across the world, though. Like, we both go to movies. How many people go to movies and taking selfies throughout the movies? And you're just like, really?
Yeah.
Like little things like that. You're just like, really? You open the door for somebody. They don't say thank you. All those sorts of different things. He's no different. He doesn't have any home training. And now that he got a little bit of star power, as I say, he got his first NBA check. He got his Hellcat outside. He don't know how to act.
Yeah.
He got a little money in his pocket. He don't know what to do. So
this is something about him, man. I kind of don't trust him.
I think it's good. I think it's good to be suspicious of him. And I also think it's good to see how Jace will handles this, because I don't think Jace is going to let anybody get too close to his mother without him vetting it. So I like the suspicion that they're building with him. And I'm not really suspicious. I just want to see him turn the page and actually be, get it together and just be a loyal soldier with some decorum, as you said. And right next to him is the whole line of him, Adam and my man Hugh out there, because I'm always going to hype my man Hugh. Yeah, I want to see them go out there and do something. Then hell, when Raina pull up, it's a wrap. It's a whole wrap. It's a whole wrap. Yep. They're gonna be yelling out squad and be flying everywhere. It's gonna be a good time. So Rhaenyra and Corals now. And there is a lot that's said here, but while there's so much to be said, there's a lot that hasn't been said. So first thing is first is the question about Adam, and he wants to ensure that Adam is Rhaenyra is wanting to ensure that Adam is there's a lot to kind of make with Adam, because they're like, well, if Adam has the dragon, correct?
Yeah,
Adam has the dragon. So they don't know so much about Adam, but they do know that Adam is loyal, and there's a little bit of a background screening check going on here with him and asking Corals here. And although he talks about his loyalty and what he could do and all this other stuff, he never mentions that he's his son. But they want to know his background. And I don't understand. Why does he have, what more does he need now? He names his ship after his girl.
Mm-hmm.
She clearly is everything he do it for. That would be the first thing that she would say. Cut it clean, bro.
Just let it, just say something.
But even with that, they talk about how Vhagar is unmatched. But now they said that, that isn't the only dragon. And then this is where the question about, what about Daeron from Old Town? What about Helena and Dreamfire? They make it very clear that Helena is not a warrior. She's not getting out there, but they're just basically trying to ensure that their battle tactics is right. So even though that they got more dragons, they need to see what else could, the others, what could they be doing next? But anyway, she kind of gives him the sentiments about, good luck with everything with Sea Snake, and said, nope, Sea Snake no more. She is the queen who never was.
I like that.
I really do. It was really beautiful. And so thus, I would imagine that means that he didn't name his ship the Queen That Never Was. I believe he just named it Rhaenys. Or did he name it the Queen That Never Was?
No, he named it the Queen Who Never Was.
Okay, I just thought he was like hitting that, like, oh, he's talking about Rhaenys here. But either way, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, beautiful gesture for his love, and again, him stating that everything he do is for her. But with that being said, though, I think too that with everything that they talk about another player that has yet to been revealed here. Where are we going at with this? What's happening with these two, these two masterminds here, trying to map out the whole board here? And also, if Adam has a dragon, there needs to be an instant reaction to, well, what about Alan? Can we get my man on board here? I mean, I would imagine that, like, now that we're on the road, we're getting these dragon riders, what we got for him. So what do you think they're getting at here?
I don't think Alan wants it. Like, there's like a line that he said in the, like, maybe last episode, or maybe
he don't want it, but why hasn't Rhaenyra suggested it?
Well, she probably doesn't know that Alan's his kid. The only reason why she knew about Adam was because the dragon went to him and he came back. He probably brought him back to Dragonstone.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know anything about Alan, and I don't think Alan wants it because he's like, I'm salt to sea, or whatever they say. Same thing that Baela said. Like, I don't want to be heir of Driftmark because I'm blood and fire. It should be run by Salt and Sea. So maybe a little connection there. Maybe he's gonna be the heir of Driftmark. I don't know, but even if they wanted him, I don't think he would do it.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree. I think if Rhaenyra asked, he would at least try, especially with the success of his brother and being able to ride with his brother. I think he does everything in spite of Corals, because Corals won't come clean. And even when my man Alan laid it out on him about what he's been enduring and what does it mean to see him and taking care of your other kids, and that's where he dropped the dime of, like, one's dead and the other one followed. And he like, you still ain't even come look at us. So oops. Guess there won't be any bending of the bond there. So
that's a crazy that was like a very interesting scene, the conversation between Alan, right? His name was Alan. Alan and Corlys, where he was like, I saw you when I was a kid and you walked past me with your kids. I'm pretty sure he was talking about Corlys, right? And
he was talking about Corlys and Lena and Laenor. Yeah,
that was,
and that's what he says. Like, and one died and then one soon followed. So he was the one. He knows that he died.
Yeah,
which is interesting because if you know Laenor, that means he knew that him having it just makes sense that he would get the dragon. It just makes sense.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah, it's just weird that they didn't say more about it, but I guess
the fact that Lena was I don't know why my camera keep doing that. The fact that Lena used to ride Vhagar. You find this interesting, don't you? Vhagar went from her to Aemon. And if Aemon's gone, does Vhagar go to Alan?
Ooh, that would be fun. I like that.
And his siblings now inherit his, I would say bastard siblings, because they really not. He just kind of left them out there to struggle. But do they inherit his kids' dragons? And what does that look like? And I tell you what, not that I know if it happens or not, but Rhaenyra is going to have to ask questions after that. But okay, hold on. This is way too big of a coincidence.
I think it's season 3. It's going to come out that they're Corlys.
Yeah, because I'm tired of a whole season of things that should have just been discussed. Sir Corlys, please tell folks that these are your kids. Tell your kids that you did wrong. Get this back on the right foot here.
Yeah, I mean, like, your other kids are, not around anymore. So, you can kind of say something,
Yeah.
have a family again.
Yeah, exactly. I love how the actors are so present on social media too. They're having a hell of a time. So definitely good to kind of see them living in the moment and becoming very popular characters and love it characters, because we're all rooting for Adam and Alan, and ain't nobody out there online have a problem with Alan standing his ground on his father, who ain't at this rate now. Corlys, you're a piece of shit father, because even in the opportunity to make it right, you still didn't. So that's just what it is. That's just what it is. All right, so now we go to Harrenhal, because once again, Daemon has spent another episode in Harrenhal. But finally some resolve.
Yeah.
So Broom has come to see him, and we got this nice new army of his, which is a lot of background convincing to get everything he had worked for to get to Harrenhal. And even with the two of them together, they both. I love how Broom is just kind of like, wait, did you hear something? It's like, yeah, this place will have you barking at the moon. So like, he's very much accepted the shenanigans there. But then
it's a traitor. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, go for it. What did you think of all this happening in this scene?
Yeah, I liked it. I like that, when he took him to the Godswoods, like that, like it's like the house is saying traitor, like, it knows, like, it's foretelling the things that are going to happen, and it's getting to him. But I do like it. I do find it interesting that he's like, hey, let's turn on Rhaenyra. Like, this moment needs a king. Like, he's just totally, like, at first I was like, is this like another test for him or something like that to see what he's gonna say? But no, he legit was like, let's turn on Rhaenyra. But it was interesting to see what Daemon's reaction is going to be, which we'll find out later.
No, it truly is, because I mean, he's not wrong. He says if you really want to get these people behind you, they look to a king. Yeah, and misogyny is a real thing even today. So he's not wrong about like the optics of things, but it definitely was a pivotal point in him to decide exactly where his allegiances was going to be. And it just casts a suspicion for the viewers here, because that was definitely another like, oh boy, how's this gonna go? So all right, so we go to Aemon now, and he's being briefed about all the new riders. We go to Alicent and Helena, and Alicent and Helena have this discussion about why does everybody hate us after they were thrown out of their own city essentially and ran for their fear for their lives and fled to safety. And it's a real conversation, because like we do get really understanding of the lay of the land, like, yeah, why are they hated and whatnot. But then nonetheless, because that's not really important, Aemon comes in and requests Helena to ride the Dreamfire, and not only does Helena says no, Alicent stands up to Aemon and let her know it's not going down like that. So we see a shift in power essentially, because Aemon's a little bit of a hot case here. Yeah. And I definitely didn't think he would walk back so easy, but I think from his mother and from the queen, that what options did he have? But also I felt like, what options did he have coming in there? He was desperate, asking, listen, first of all, asking Helena to get on the dragon is definitely a sacrifice. Like,
she doesn't, she
ain't about that life. She ain't about that life. This is nothing. Hey, he was just blowing hot air, wasting everybody's time asking there. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to add really there, but Alicent goes to the Grand Maester and asks for a passage, and we already know what time it was there. Now, Kristen Cole, who's been pretty quiet for a few episodes here, I'm going to say before we even start this that I did not like this scene.
Really?
I don't like Kristen Cole, and that's not going to change.
That is true. Yeah.
But I do appreciate Sir Gawain with the sword to his neck and laying it out that he knows everything. Yeah. I know you've been sleeping with the queen. I know you've been sleeping with my sister. I know all about that. And Kristen Cole, who has been shooketh of the body, is like, my desires for women have brought me nothing but grief. Sir, cry me a river. Cry me a river.
Oh gosh.
And even to the point of him saying to die would be a relief. I don't have zero sympathy for this guy.
Same.
My man's he's seen some charred bodies and he got scared, which is so interesting because I was so critical about Sir Gawain and how I thought he might have been shooketh from everything. And it turns out to be Kristen Cole, who's been very pivotal to all of their success right now in terms of the territories, the armies, the recruitments, all that other good stuff, the strategies. He's been key. And now it looks like not only has he sort of swallowed his own gut, but he trying to fake like he is loyal to Alicent, which is BS. It's just absolute BS. He way. That ship sailed a long time ago. He left after the first time they almost got caught and the kid got killed. That was the last time he was loyal. Once he figured that, which I would assume he thought they were in the clear, which in fact everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah,
he's been all the way Aemon. Even Aegon at the point, but truly Aemon. He had no loyalty to Alicent. Alicent looked really bad in front of the council, although being removed, which he did nothing to rectify that. Nah, man. What did you think of his little sympathy tour here that no one was buying?
Yeah, I agree. I didn't buy it either. I really would like to see from him, and I wonder if they're gonna do this. I would like to see like a Jaime Lannister type redemption, minus season 8. But like I would really like to see that from him, and kind of like maybe reverse that and make him like a good character. But yeah, no, I didn't agree with that whole BS either. Like I didn't agree with it, but I do want to make a comment moving back to like the Alicent and Aemon from the last one. Like I really like that scene as well because like she really let him know like you did all this because you feel threatened. Like that's why he went to go burn Sharp's Point at the beginning. Yeah. Because he saw that like, okay, I failed right now. They got 3 or 4 dragons, however how many they have. And like I might lose. So he was so angry that he went to go burn an innocent city for no reason. Yeah. Like he's nothing but like a person who was bullied, but now he's the bully.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Hurt people. No, you're right. And now that I think about it, this makes so much more sense because once you realize like, oh shoot, when everybody went to Dragonstone, and he realized what he was up against. And I saw somebody say like he got good eyes for one eye, which is completely hilarious. But I don't think it was because let me make this very clear on the record here. I don't think it's because of his vision why he turned around. One, he got smoked. Like I said, he what's the face way faster than him, but he saw where it was going. He not pulling up there knowing that there's an unknown dragon in front of him, and what could that mean, and what could he be walking? is it not a trap if you don't think about it? Hey, let's circle, let's pull him out, which he immediately ran out, and then let's attack him as a battle strategist of self, because that's what he did not that long ago when he took out Rhaenys and Meleys. That it was a strategy. He hung low, he hung behind the castle, he came up. So I think it was just that he realized, like, oh snap, that's where it's going, because essentially it was a wild dragon and a rider. Who did it belong to? Once he saw the direction was going, it's like, oh boy, not good, not good. I will say this also too. I fully expected Vhagar to not listen. I thought Vhagar was a hell nah. I want all the smoke, and I really thought we were going to see a falling out of the dragon and the rider. But I think it's way better and safe, right, to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
At least for them. Yeah.
To control his level 100 Charizard, you know.
All right, so now we get Tylan and Admiral Loha having a little mud fight. Not going too good for him, no. But he does get a little bit of a slight hand, throwing a little physicality back at her, and after that she says, "Huh, you know what? This kind of makes me want to consider this offer a little bit." So she needed to be roughed up a little bit. Listen, man, I ain't shaming nobody's kinks here. If this is what she's into, then so be it. You know, she needed to be choked a little bit and smacked up a little bit. Now she's like, yeah, now I need you to have sex with me and all my wives. Let's go. Who would have thought a little mud fight would have turned into such a crazy scene? Yeah.
That kind of reminded me. I don't know if you ever played the game Skyrim. Have you ever played that? Mm-hmm. Okay, there's like a companion that you could get at I don't remember which town it was, but there's like a companion you could get. She's a lady also, and it's like in order to get her as a companion, you need to fight her. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, those scenes were fun. They were interesting to see.
All right, so we get Baela and Jace. Because he's angry, but Baela always knows how to kind of get inside of Jace's head and kind of see what's really going on here. Mm-hmm. And he's frustrated because he said they're an insult to us. And then Baela giving the best advice to Jace, that prove to them that you are worthy. You know, you need to take place by your mother's side, and he receives that. You know, Baela is the one that really can get through to him when everything's kind of going on. Mm-hmm. We see Rhaena now in a while still struggling. Who, I mean, just a wild journey for her, but nonetheless, we know where it was eventually going to land. So we get Tylan now singing in front of everybody, winning them all over, even though they keep saying his name wrong, but it's okay. But he did prove himself, and she is pleased to sail by his side. And they made the declaration that, like, let's see what Sea Snake got. We're gonna see what Sea Snake got this time, you know. So they ready to rumble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, this is where she says, I wish for you to have my children. Fuck all my wives.
I was not expecting that. But okay.
Game of Thrones for you folks.
Yeah. I would say that's interesting about Jason, Baela. Like, because this is like such a major point in the last episode that we never got to talk about. Like, I feel like Jace feels a little threatened that all these bastards are turning up, you know, and kind of like taking the dragons and stuff like that, because it's like, what makes him now special? Like, it's, you know,
I think
he's a bastard too,
right? I mean, he questioned that, but like, you know, a little different, but he did question that too, and he talks about like even his appearance, how that's in question. I say like he has legitimate concerns to be, because there's so much new changing things happening around her, and she's been prioritizing these new riders and how she lights up when they're here, and the fact that like they actually became riders, like that joy among her face. I mean, at the end of the day, he's still his mother's son, and that's really important to him, is to remain that one, the alpha, the one that is still here by reason, and he needs to prove his worth at all given time. So I think it's good writing for him, because it just makes sense in any generation that he's the son that wanted to ensure that he stays in his mom's favor and always remain a priority. But sometimes you're not, and I think he's gonna have to learn that. Sometimes he has to play the role to the side. Sometimes he will be the one up front. So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting work for him. But nonetheless, Rhaenys, excuse me, Rhaenyra, excuse me,
Rhaenyra.
has a toast to the new riders now. And he said, even though you're not of noble birth, but you've done something never deemed possible. Something that she's never dreamed of, excuse me. Serve me well, and I will make you all knights of the realm. We must strike while we have the advantage. We're going to fly in 2 days, which means y'all have time to figure your dragons out. And although there is questions about killing the innocent from folks, and even questions about Vhagar, which Oof is like, yeah, I'll take them all by myself. Silverwing is a goer. Like, I love this dude. But like, he's ready to go, man. He lacked grace. It is what it is. But at the same time, Rhaenyra gets a she gets a message from Harrenhal. Sir Simon Strong fears what's the word here? Treachery. No, that's not the word. What's the word?
Treason.
Treason. Thank you. Damn. And because Daemon has now raised his army, she looks around the room and she says, Adam, come with me. And Jace looks crazy. Jace like, what? I agree. This is absolutely the right decision because you have to ensure that home is protected and it aligns with your vision. If Mysaria was not who she was, it will be a different story. But the fact that like you don't have Rhaenys there, you don't have Corals there, Jace, you have to be there, dog. Especially when you got Oof out here just acting all wild. And although y'all don't think there's no concerns with Hugh, they're still new.
Yeah.
So it's the right decision. Adam seems to be very loyal. And there has not been a subject of question of his loyalty, but it makes sense. But it's time to ride. Anything you want to talk about there? God, it's so much more.
It's just so much. Yeah. No, I mean, like with them, it's like it was good that she took Adam because I feel like he's the most trustworthy out of all of them. Like I feel like he's like maybe the only one right now from what we have seen that's like interested in actually being a dragon rider and learning the ways of being a dragon rider. And also it's like I'm wondering if she's not doing anything too much with them yet because, you know, they are still new, but it's also like keep them at arm's length because they're still new. Like, you know, we don't know, like you just gave like these unnamed people like the most powerful things in the world right now. So it's like, we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know if one of them is just going to be like, oh, maybe I want to be king one day. And just like, you know, that's, you know, we just don't know. So I'm wondering if that's the reason why, but we'll see. Yeah, no, it makes sense why.
Yeah, and treason's not the word I was looking for. It's treachery that I was looking for.
Oh, treachery. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense too.
Yeah. So Daemon's there, Harrenhal there, and has to wish, do you ever sleep? But asks him to follow her She asks him to follow her to the courtyard to the Godswood. And from all of this that has happened, she kind of comes forth and is like, listen, I think today you're ready. Do you wish to learn what's been given to you? And I'm thinking to myself, like, wait, what? And he touches the tree, blood and visions of the future. We see a lot here. We see a lot. We see a young Night King. We see, which I'm sure everybody's going to be talking about this. And that is the birth of 3 dragons. And there's only been one person to ever do so. And she is the iconic Khaleesi Daenerys Targaryen. However you want to call her, she is that. She is her. She is the queen of the dragon. And seeing that was like, oh, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just like, oh shit. Like, fan service, but I'm like, what does this mean? And also we always wondering who is the identity of the Night King. So I'm like, is it Daemon? But then there's been so much that people start thinking, is it Aemon? It's somebody. It is somebody.
Don't we find out who it is though in Game of Thrones?
For me, if he did, I can't. I do not recall.
Remember. I don't recall.
Oh no, do a Google search while we go through this here, because I definitely do not recall that ever being a thing. Yeah. But nonetheless, we now see him see Rhaenyra and with the throne, and This is where we get the commentary. It's like it's all a story, but you're but one part of it. You know your part. You know what you must do. Now, I do have a question here. That person that was telling him this, that was Helena.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she the messenger? And I also thought this was super interesting how they cut this, because they cut her in the dream state telling him, and then they go into the practical world and see him telling Aemon. What is that supposed to mean?
I think it's Helena is a dream seer. So that's why she's like kind of giving like all these weird cryptic messages sometimes, because a lot of those things that she does relates to something in the story later. And you kind of see it throughout this season. You see it throughout the rest of season 2. It's like she has like visions and dreams of things, but she doesn't know what they mean in the moment. Like in the first episode where you see her, like she's like knitting something or she's like sewing something on the ground. That's Jaehaerys's funeral veil that he wears.
Oh yeah.
And she's doing it, but she doesn't know why she's doing it. And there's other things that she does last season. Like she knew that Aemon was going to lose an eye. She kind of made some comments about that. She kind of, foretold this whole issue with red and green and all this other things. She basically, predicts the future. She just doesn't know what's going on right now. So it makes sense why she was able to do that. And I think it's because she is a dream seer. Because she even knows about Aemon. And she wasn't even there. Like,
yeah, that's true. So going to Aemon and Helena, it says, listen, come with me to Harrenhal. It says, will you burn? She said no. But and if I don't, will you burn me like Aegon? I saw it, which I was like, oh, like this is getting interesting now, and I love how you broke that all down. And then she says Aegon will be king again. That definitely hurt my man Aemon's little feelings there.
And now he will die.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So Rhaenyra and Adam, they go in Harrenhal. Sir Simon Strong meets her, and says, "So I had a reason to fear, but you can come see for yourself." She comes in. No one kneels to her. No type of reaction at all. But then Daemon enters. By the way, Adam is above in his dragon, just making sure all is good. And then Daemon and them talking, but she takes a step back, projects her voice because she needed to make sure the whole room heard this. To whom are you sworn? And he says, winter is coming. And so you sound like my father. And said the realm's only hope is a leader who can unite. My brother chose you. He kneels to her. You are the true queen. I am meant to serve you. They have even a little bit of a flirting moment because she says, if you ever leave me again. And even while all this is happening, Broom is looking a little worried in the front, but Daemon rallies the troop in a way, in a measure of confidence we have not seen him this entire season. This was an insane scene to me because everybody likes Daemon. Yeah, I've seen the internet. People like Daemon. I see people saying, Daemon, get your ass out of Harrenhal, return to this form, blah, 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 blah. But he takes his rightful side next to the queen, supports her. He did his job. Took him a long time, but he got the army. Everybody's in line. They're ready to go. This is a not bittersweet. This is a sweet moment for her because this is what she wanted. This is what she needed. This is almost solidifies the win here. After the dragons, the armies on the ground, corals on sea. This is everything that she needed, even to the point of her questioning, would Daemon try to come after her or would he align with her? And she got everything she wanted. What did you think of this scene?
Yeah, I thought this was a really good scene too. And you were right, because you said, I think from the beginning that, he was always going to stick by her side. And I did not believe it. I really thought he was going to turn on her eventually. So you were right on that one. Yeah, no, it was a good scene. I love a good inspirational, fight speech, get everybody riled up. I thought that was really fun. I did notice that the other guy did kind of sneak out, in between everybody. So I wonder what's going to happen to him. Is he gonna do something in season 3 or something like that? Or are we never gonna see him again? Like that Kingsguard that just left at the end of season 1, but we'll see. But I thought it was good. It was a good it was good to see that he is gonna follow Rhaenyra, because like when he had that vision before of of a Song of Ice and Fire and all the stuff from Game of Thrones, I thought, and then when he saw her on the throne in that vision, I like in my notes, I thought it was because like, oh, I wonder if he's not gonna let Rhaenyra be queen, because like if she is, none of this will ever happen type thing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going, but I'm glad it didn't go that way.
Yeah, it's a really good moment for the fans here. I think that we all was hoping for this moment one way or another. And honestly, it's just a setup of so much more to come. And now that we see the army is fully put together, you know, we're gonna see what they're gonna do, man. I'm all for Rhaenyra and the dragons. I think 7 dragons. I think they got now. Is it 7? Let's do it. So. Let's do a count. Let's do a count. All right. So Jace, Rhaenyra, Adam,
Daemon,
Baela. Wait, 1. Oh, Daemon. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm counting here. 1. Yeah, count for me real quick. Daemon's 1. Rhaenyra's 2. Jace is 3. Adam's 4. Baela's 5. Oof is 6. Hugh is 7.
Yeah.
Rhaena is 8.
If she gets the dragon.
If she gets the dragon. And then for their side, they got Aegon doesn't have a dragon no more.
No more.
Aemon, Helena. Does Alicent have a dragon?
No, she's not Targaryen.
Oh, yeah, right. Helena, Aemon, and then Daeron. So it's 3. It's only 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Vermithor is big too. So Vhagar is the biggest one, but
yeah.
Biggest
in battle testing, but Vermithor is no slouch.
No.
All right, so Driftmark now. Everybody's getting ready. Coral's sitting for Alan. I really don't even want to talk about this scene because it just triggers me so much. Not because it's something personal in my life, because it's just so annoying. Coral, like, do right, man. But maybe that's gonna be next episode, But and maybe that's why they're dragging it wrong. Like, yeah, like they're gonna get this right. But he said, I wish to set out on terms with my first mate. And he talk about, do you know what hunger, grief, and shame to grow up without your father? Laenor is dead. We find out. He says, oh boy. He said because he made that comment, said now the boy is dead. So that's when we figured that out. And Alan is just pissed, man. He wants no handouts in all of this. He says, regardless of what happened, I want no handout. But yeah, we talked about a little bit earlier. Rhaena spots a dragon, a wild dragon, and it looks like we are getting ready to have that moment. Rhaenyra and Mysaria, I just gotta say, Mysaria has always been a character that is always going to speak some truth on everything. But I think it is interesting because they do have a good sense of heart to heart and space for one another. It says, like, what do I do about the doom for thousands of their death? Like, she's considering what this is going to mean to the innocents here. And Rhaenyra is like, I don't believe my father would have wished this upon us. And then at this moment, she looks upon Alicent, and Alicent comes in. This scene bothered me too, because Alicent, I told you how she felt all big and bad. She wasn't trying to hear it. Now she back trying to cop please. And Rhaenyra's not even trying to have that then, but she comes in like, I think I've been mistaken. She said, I resent you. I resent you for knowing what you wanted and what's been expected of me. So she looked at Rhaenyra because Rhaenyra was strong and she made her decisions for herself. And, Alicent was always what was suspected of her.
Yeah, she's jealous. I
think
a little bit. Yeah.
It's 1,000%. Rhaenyra was not trying to hear any of this. And she says, I do not wish to rule. Alicent said that I do not wish to rule. I wish to live. Please take my daughter and her child. I'm willing to take my daughter and my child and leave it all behind. And Rhaenyra's like, nah, It's all too late.
You stuck now.
Yeah, she said, why have you come? And it says, like, okay, fine. Aemon's going to fly soon. He's going to meet Kristen Cole in the Riverlands, trying to end the war and offer a path. And she says, what of Aegon? He's broken beyond recognition. You defend him still, because she knows what the deal is here. Again, she was not looking for any sympathy here or any empathy for any of them. She says, you defend him still. You are trying to have it all, which is in fact right. She's trying to create resolution, but also protect all her kids in a way. I can't blame a mother for trying to do that. And she says, I must put an end of the opposition to take the throne. I must take his head. You choose. Will you make your sacrifice? A son for a son. Takes her a while, but she shakes her head. Yes, we got a little bit of a long pause here. She says, you've changed so much. She said, let us be done with this, please. And then she talks about Alicent and how she would go down in history as a cold queen, excuse me. History will paint you as a villain. And she says, fine, because I am at last myself. And then she tells her to go. What else did you make of that conversation? Because there was a very lot.
There was a lot. I was very surprised to see them together again. I didn't I know we were wondering if they were going to be together again, like a few episodes back, but I was surprised to see them here. I do think it was interesting to see them together. I think Alicent is totally done with all this. I think that's her revelation that she had on her little camping trip in the last episode. She's really just trying to be like, there's no more work for me in this world anymore. Like they made her do all this stuff to get to where she is, and then they kind of just like threw her to decide when she had no more worth. So I think she is trying to find that way out, and she has to be at a low point if she's going to the person that this whole fight started because of them. So she's really just trying to be done with everything. I do like it. I do think that her plan to have Rhaenyra take the throne was really smart, because Aegon's not going to be around, or he's like too badly hurt. Aemon's leaving, so Elena's going to be queen automatically, because that's how it works, and just take the throne. So I liked it. I think it was a really good scene, and it was good to see them together. I'm wondering if Alicent does leave, how much we are going to see of her. Like, I wonder what her role is going to be next season. Because it sounds like she's leaving.
Yeah. I mean, even to the point where she went on the edge, he was like, wait, what is she about to do? But I think she's contemplating what she must do. I don't think she's going to leave because she still needs to protect her kids. That's what she went in there to try to do. I also think that she really, of anything, she wants to ensure that Helena's fine, because she doesn't deserve any of this. She happens to be a casualty of war here. I think she still cares about Aegon to understand, but Aemon's lost. She's like, well, too late for that one.
Oof. And she got that other son,
who's not really involved, so that's not really on the table as of yet. But we'll see what happens with Daeron as well too. Last scene, we get the riders, everybody's suiting up. Rhaenyra's we say Rhaena tries to get the dragon. The troops are marching. Alicent walks off. Plenty of looks at Alicent silent at sea with his boo. Well, who do we have here, Mr. Otto? just hiding in the low. Who found him? Who is that? Where is he? Questions.
Is he captured? I think
it looks like it. It looks like it, and it doesn't look good. He looks bad. So who has him and why? And then Laird and Aegon are leaving. Looks like we know exactly where they're going as well too, as they talked about going to Essos. So
did you see Daeron? Daeron was there. I think he was in it because he's flying on his dragon. Daeron. That's what
I saw people saying that on the dragon. I mean, on the dragon on the preview, but I wasn't being a conspiracy theory. But I guess it makes sense because of what the army is and where they're coming from. So
yeah, because it's with the high towers. So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So a lot of things are getting ready to commence.
Yeah. I do not want to see Harrenhal next season. No more Harrenhal. I'm done with
that. Yeah, they burnt that set location out. No more Harrenhal for me either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we do predictions for next season, or do we just put it there and just see where it goes, man? I mean, I trust enough that like they left us in a bad position here because all of us is going to be looking forward to next week for the episode, and it won't be there. They did not leave us on a note of being satisfied right now. We're still on edge. I feel like Alicent at the cliff, and I don't know what I'm going to do because I need to see things get wild. I need to see where my man Otto been. Give me a whole episode of Otto. Don't play with me. Give me Otto right now. Daeron. I mean, again, I saw people talking about that in the preview that they said that was him on the dragon. But let's do it. Everybody on their dragons, let's ride out. Let's see who's gonna do their thing. Listen, my man Big Hugh, he gonna get on the field and it's gonna be a wrap. I can't wait to see my man Hugh. Listen, Hugh has to come home because Hugh wife, she not playing with him. She gonna be right there on the ground like, Hugh, you better come down here. We already lost our daughter. I'm not losing you. So Hugh has a lot at stake emotionally, and we need to see him go out there and do the thing. Hugh for the win. That I'm calling it right now. Hugh from 3 at buzzer beater. Hugh LeBron James down in the paint, slam dunking it for the game winner. Like stop playing with my boy Hugh, man. He out here. Hugh is out here.
I really hope we see more of Hugh. He looks like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Ulf I don't trust, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know like what else we could predict without it being like spoilery.
I don't have any predictions except for my man Hugh. He's showing up. He's showing out. Stop playing with my boy Hugh. Hugh the Hammer, by the way. Just in case I didn't know, he got an OnlyFans too. Not for me, but with that last name, he might. He might have an OnlyFans out here. Stop playing with my man Hugh. Now I don't got no predictions. I'm just excited for whenever this is gonna come back. So I guess we see y'all in 2 years because we know how this goes. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I think there's another Game of Thrones show coming out that maybe we need to do. You know, they're making another one.
The Jon Snow show?
No, they're not making. It's a different one. It's based on like another book series that George R.R. Martin made in like the 90s. I think it was like something with egg. I don't know. It's about a knight or something, a hedge knight, and.
Oh, a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So that's another show that's going to be coming out soon, too.
I just looked it up. The book was released 2015. And let me see. TV series right here. Let me see what we got on this. As far as we know, we don't have any additional information. They've made two casting. Let me see. The filming is scheduled to start summer of 2024. So that looks to be commencing right now. It stopped because of the strike. And it had initially stopped because of the strike, but it's all good because that's been resolved. So yeah, we got a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. That'll be the next show. I guess we cover them. So be it.
I'll be good with that. Maybe, I wonder if we're gonna get that one before another season of this one. Like,
who knows? Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comments, folks. What did you think about this entire season? Give us your grade. Let us know your favorite episodes, your favorite moments. This is all things House of the Dragon in the comments below. It's been an absolute pleasure to cover it for you all this entire season. It's been so much fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary, the laughs, the silliness, the things we got right, the things we got wrong, all that good stuff. We just hope that you had a good time rocking with us every episode.
And it was a good first video to work with you guys too.
Yeah, welcome to the gang. You out here looking like Baylor, like, oh man, I got my first dragon. Yeah. Anywho, thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see y'all back soon with either more content. You'll definitely see us with more content, but when Game of Thrones, whatever series comes, we'll be here to cover it for you because we love this stuff. I guess I should get to reading the books now that I got some time. Maybe
I'll definitely.
Yeah.
I would say House of the Dragon. This one is based on. It's a little bit of a wordy read, but you'll get through it.
I will. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see y'all back very soon. I